to Before You Tank, thriving in an industry that sucks. We say it sucks because 98% will fail. Our mission is to make sure you don't. Welcome back, everybody. We are now professional podcasters. You guys, seriously, we don't know if we're doing this right. So we are hoping and our hearts are really in the right spot, and we really want to share as much information as we can. So just keep feedback coming for us so that we know that, we're not wasting your time. Well, I guess you could actually be turning it off. It just hit me that they don't even have to listen. Oh, all right. Today we're excited. You're here with us at Before You Tank. Our goal is to help you thrive in the industry that we think sucks because it's 2% success rate. But we got talking about it, and there was something that we really thought was important, and that is letting go so that you can grow. So this is for those of you who have a product, who have done all the due diligence and are really trying to get ready to grow your business to this huge success. And you guys sit down. I know it's going to take a minute, but you can't do it alone. IBM didn't get there all by the guy on the top. So that's kind of what we want to talk about today. And so Keith, I think you're really great to lead us into this because you do a lot more of this piece. Like you're really with people at the end there.
It's interesting too, because I think it does apply across everyone. And as we dig into it, I'd love to hear your take on it. But I do see a lot of this where someone will come to me, they've got a product, they've got a business that they want to grow, and they'll ask for help, but immediately they'll be like, but what can I do, right? And they're like, but what can I do to and so and I get it, right? It's your baby. You've been working on this thing forever. You're trying to grow it up, but there's this sort of hesitation to hand it off to an expert or to, work with somebody. And when you step back for a second, it's really easy when you're not in the moment to step back and analyze it. But when you're in that moment, you just kind of get caught up with it, right? Oh, I'm the expert in this thing. And so I think for people to take something really, really important away would be this, think about who you want on your team and around you.
Right.
And then figure out, do I need somebody with 20 years of product development expertise, right? You don't have time in your life to be an expert in everything.
Right.
20 years of licensing expertise, 20 years of marketing expertise, whatever it be. And those people that you're going to have around you, trust them to do the things that they need to do to make you successful, right?
I got to tell you something really fast. I can so relate to this. You guys, I have one baby. And my very first day home from the hospital, he's smoking a cigarette over my baby's head. So I had the partner that I didn't want. So I totally get when you talk about being your baby and letting go, because I was like, give me that child, you will never carry her again. And so I did. I divorced him and moved on and got a better partner. So I know that's an analogy that's a little weird, but I totally get it because that was so emotional to me. And I'm like, the person I brought on to share my life with, I'm scared to death you're going to burn my child. And I know that's a little extreme emotion, but that's kind of how we get, right? We're like, we've worked 2 years, 5 years, 6 years. You've created this incredible baby, right? And now you're saying, I'm going to hire you, Keith, because you're so good at what you do. But let me go ahead and help you do that.
Yes.
Right?
We
right?
hear it all the
exactly.
time, right?
All the time. I hear that. I get that in my world.
Yep.
Like, you've got 30 years experience, but then I get 4 emails a day on what you think I should be doing next.
Yeah, and this comes from no place of ego or anything like that, right? We're not like, oh, we're the only ones who know this, but
it's not
really,
that at all.
As you think about that and you approach someone, what are the things that we've talked to you already about? It's like, know how to evaluate the people that you're working with, right? Ask really, really great questions. Really dig into their expertise, know their background, and then when you've qualified them, let them do what they do best, right? And here's why, is because you've got 24 hours in a day. So does everyone else, right?
That's it.
You
we
can
get 24.
only, yeah, right. I'd love to multiply that. And by the way, if you're working on a product right now,
going, I'm still up, right? Okay,
if you've already invented the product that changes that, call me. But you really only have that much time, and so does everyone else. And so are you going to try to do everything? Because then that's going to extend your runway until you can actually get this launched, until you can build this. And we've talked about it in the past, right? Somebody is going to catch up to you. So get those experts around you at the right time, right? Early on, sure, do everything you can, do it cheap. We talk about this. These are our themes, right? But when it is time, trust those people, because you don't want to be a bottleneck. We see it all the time, just kind of standing in your own way and not, allowing yourself that success because you
I think
can't
we do
get
that
the right
way
people
more
around you.
on everything. Like, I think we get in our own way every time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I see it even at product development stage, like we've talked about, like you go to the product developer to solve a problem and I see this, and then I see like emails that go back and forth, and my inventor is telling my product developer why he's wrong. And he's like, but I'm a physicist and I'm telling you I can do it this way. And it shocks me, but I'm like, you guys, let go. Please let go. But yeah, I know you have to evaluate. So you're not saying like you're giving up the reign. You're just saying, step back, let the people do what you do, guide them as you need, kind of like guardrails on bowling, but let them help you be really successful.
Right. And so in your world, if somebody calls you up and they're like, hey, I want you to open the doors for these incredible companies for me because I know you do this super well, but you have to use my script.
Oh my God, I've lived that world. Right. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Because that's how I get in the doors, because I have my own me. Right. Like we always joke. Some people sing, some people dance. People answer the phone for me. I don't know what that is. I get those communication. And you're right. The second you put Lulu in the box, what is it? Lulu against the wall? What is the corner? Don't put Lulu in the corner. So you're exactly right. How are you going to do it? And then I find that I spend more of my time managing my client who just spent a whole lot of money for me to make, $500 to make that call. And now you're going to tell me how to make it. And so you're right. Now you really are throwing away your money. I would rather you just pick somebody's brain and then if you have to do it yourself. Mm-hmm. But seriously, can you run, if you're at home and you have your first baby and everybody's like, oh my God, this is so much new to add, but you get the rhythm, right? All of a sudden you're like, hon, I need to go to my gym class. Will you watch my baby? And off you go. Now you got 2 kids and you're like, all right, hon, do you have your eye on both? Because I really got to get to work today. But you had a third, you're screwed. It's over. There is no right? You got to bring in some help, right? Whether you're going to daycare, I know it's a crazy analogy, but it makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, your family has grown, you need backup, you need help. And that's what you're saying. You're like, that to get it to market, you need an online guy, you need a marketing guy, you need your growth strategist, you need, pick who you need, but you let them do it.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. Like, basically, I agree with you. Initial stage, you have to take multiple hats, but at one point, you really need to focus on the core of what expert you are into, make that business or make money, because that's what you are into, right? So you focused on that, but then you take other things like may not need your attention, give it to the right people, find the right person, trust them, and give it to them. I have one person, like really a good friend of mine. He's the CEO of one of the startup, right? He was so much busy with things, so he don't have time for anything. He was answering his emails, scheduling his appointments and everything. And one of the investors basically told him, hey, hire the assistant to do all those paperwork. Like, he was not able to reach out to his team because he was so busy doing those things. So he's becoming bottleneck. And then he hired the assistants. And after that, he was more focused on going to investor, going to the fundraiser. That's the important thing that he's supposed to do.
And so this is so important, because I think this is really a key place to kind of shift this conversation. We've really talked about, the problems of not, letting go. Mm-hmm. But in a similar way, as we think about that, you just hit on some really important things. What was he able to accomplish, right? So now for everybody, how do we do this, right? How do I shift and not hold on? I really want you to think about, what could I accomplish if, right? We're so programmed to think in the negative. Oh no, what if I hand this off and he messes it up? What if I spend this and it doesn't work out? It's always negative, but think about the what if in a positive sense for a second.
Wait, what if I brought in the most incredible virtual assistant and I don't ever have to do those jobs again?
Right. Mm-hmm. What if I expand my team and they are running circles around me in this area that I used to have to do and I don't love, and now my company's taking off? Or they have relationships. What if they have relationships that open new doors for me? What if they make a connection?
And that alone could be huge. I love that. I have this new thing for the year. My New Year's resolution was, and I'll explain it in a minute, but I always ask the question now when I feel like I'm hesitating. I go, if I wasn't afraid, what would I do? Yeah. And because I didn't realize, I fly a lot lately, and I'm okay flying, but I'm a little claustrophobic. So I realized that I was paying a lot of money for the seat assignment and stuff. So I realized that this was a great question to help me. But I started noticing in my real life, you have underlying fear you don't know you have.
Yeah.
And so when I feel like I'm hesitating, I ask myself the question, if I wasn't afraid, what would I do? And shockingly enough, it says the answer. And so it just for me, it resonated with me. It may not resonate with somebody else, but it helped me to identify for myself what I'm not afraid of at all. Like, obviously talking is not a problem for me. So you think that will work? But like you said, it found my strengths. So I got really good at my strengths and realized that, look, I mean, we're doing a podcast because I can't write this stuff in a blog. What are you freaking kidding me? I can't write. So I knew I could speak. So it really, in a weird way, it really helped me go, I'm really good at this. And Keith, you know this. I have brought ideals to you before. When I was young and early on, I was like, I know product, I can get product to market. I was like, I can be running these companies. And I was like, it sat weird for me. And then I had to let my ego one day realize I'm not a CEO. That is not who I am. I am the marketing guy. I'm the salesman. I'm the guy who likes to give me that challenge. Get me on Oprah. I'm in. Sign me up for that job. But the CEO, I go, hey, Keith, want a CEO? Because you're that guy. You're the guy that does that naturally. You look at what's the problem, what's the solution, and you can guide me, and you have guided me to say, well, think about this, do this, and then I can make a decision in the right direction. So in my world, you're on my team because I'm willing to trust you with your answer and I'm willing to use it. So I think that's what we really need to get. Guys, this is like real world issues that people talk about all the time, right? They're like, get a virtual girl. I heard somebody, Michael Burdoff, my girlfriend bought me donated this course. I don't know exactly how it works, but it was like 3 hours a night for 5 nights, which you guys live in the same world I do. That's a lot of freaking time. But one thing he said about motivating yourself and changing your world, he said, everybody tries to keep forcing what they don't do well to get better. You always focus on what you're already well at and you find people that fill the place. But what he said that I thought was really cool was when you get better at something in your world, the rest follows. So he's like, he liked you to go to like Toastmasters and learn how to be a better speaker, or hire the cleaning woman that will clean your house and it frees you of that. So every time you come home, your house is beautiful. Or join a group a workout thing that you're getting stronger. So when you run that first 3 miles in the morning and you come home, you're so pumped, you're not even thinking about what your next step is. You're just making your life happen. And there's something so powerful to that. I will tell you, after 4 nights, I'm exhausted, and I still looked up Toastmasters. I thought, I did it because I got that. Because you have successes in an area, then you can go ahead and be more successful. And I think what you're saying is, for me, if I feel successful, I feel like I'm hiring that right guy. I can go to bed tonight. I can go home and tell my wife we got the weekend off.
Yeah.
Because we're moving.
Yeah, and you even hit on a principle that they've been studying, even just. One author calls them working geniuses, but you have these strengths, right? And we all realize we have these strengths and weaknesses. And at one point it was common, advice to just like, focus on all your weaknesses and getting them better so that you're well-rounded across. I think a lot of people have really shifted that thinking to be like, actually, there's some areas where you're really good and you have unique gifts. Focus there, kill it there, get team around you for the stuff you're not good at, And so I've, even for myself, identified these things. I'm like, I get no joy out of doing this task over and over and over. I have got to find somebody else to do this who honestly, they love it. Right?
That's what Oprah Winfrey said. The woman who pops my zits loves what she's doing, and she's packed, and she makes a killing. Because she loves, seriously.
I think that's what they say, right? Love what you do, and everything will work out fine. I think that's like, trust yourself, trust your strength, and just focus on that. So if you focused on that, that's where you're going to go for that. That's where you're going to get success. So you have to let those things go, that fear. Again, going back to the fear of failure. Let this thing go. Just trust other people that you're hiring the right person. I don't have time for this one. I'm going to have this person who's going to help me out to boost it. And end of the day, it's a team effort, right?
Yeah, and shameless plug, but if you're not sure how to find that right team, definitely go back and listen to some of these episodes. There's some really good resources on questions to ask and really how to evaluate the people around you, because you're going to need a great patent attorney if you're doing a product, or you're going to need a great product developer. You're going to need somebody with that experience, and you're going to want to make sure that their ethics and values align, right? So
Well, and I also want to highlight, when you add to your team, add smart.
Yeah,
Okay, so like
absolutely.
know when you're adding. No, and I'm going to do a shameless plug, but we've created a startup weekend. Katie and I from the Inventors Club for women, and we decided to create this startup weekend so that we could teach you in a very compact time how to do everything right. Invest in something like that, or invest in the right person, because you may spend a little in that direction. It might even feel like a lot at that moment, but what you'll end up saving in time and hours and dollars is like incredible. People, like, when you go back and look at the big picture, I can't even tell you how many times I've looked at my inventors and thought, God, if I knew you 6 years earlier, we would have saved $700,000. I can honestly say I have people like that.
yeah, and to really hit that concept home, it's so often we get into these things, and the reality is we don't know what we don't know.
Exactly.
And you hear that saying, but if you really step back and think about it for a second, what are the things that you don't know?
Yeah.
Well, start to figure out and put people around you. Doesn't have to be long-term team, right? It could be at a weekend, right? It could be, calling somebody who you know is an expert in the space, getting mentoring. However you start down that path, start figuring out the things that you don't know and where you need to get people.
And I love that, because I caught on to this after my daughter had a brain tumor. And you guys, it was just one of those, I'm a God girl, but it was one of those things where she was young and it was huge, and they brought in the best guy, one of the top 3 in the country, took care of her brain tumor. It was the size of a man's fist. And that was a reality check for me. And what I realized, because I am a little bit of a control freak and I think I know a lot, and I realized that all I have to know is how to find the right person.
Yeah.
All I have to know is how to find who's really good in that industry. Because I was the guy, if you can buy it at Walmart, I bought it at Walmart. Not realizing that maybe if I bought it at Nordstrom's, I'd still have it in 5 years instead of 5 months. So it took me a long time being a single mom, watching every penny. And I get that. When you're launching a new business, you're watching every penny, you're making every decision. But I have new clients that haven't even signed the contract that I have literally already saved them $4,000.
Oh, yeah.
Juan, you helped me on that. They paid $1,000 for a sample, and now they're getting another sample less than like $100. I mean, this is stuff that's phenomenal, but that's why you pay me, because I know how to do that. And so I think there is really, don't stress yourself out. Just know what you don't know, and then know how to find and interview someone that knows. Ask them if they get your product. Do they love your product? Do they understand your product? Make sure they get that part first. And if they get that, you guys, I'm in sales. There's stuff I can't sell. I've had porno stuff. I cannot sell porno stuff. I can't get my head out of the bag. I'm so embarrassed to talk to you about porno. So you don't want me. You seriously don't want me to sell your product. So you know what I'm saying? We all have that to some degree. So if you're you know that you have products where you're like, I just can't.
Yeah,
I can't do you a good job.
I can't take this. It's just, and again, it just doesn't align values wise, right?
Right.
And so that's a really important thing. If you're working with somebody, not just knowing that their aptitude and capabilities, but really where do their values and motivations and strengths lie?
Yeah. And I think you both brought up a really nice point. Like, if you don't know things, right, find the mentor. You mentioned a mentor, having a mentor, if you don't know, that's really good benefits, because the mentor been through those things and they will help you to save a lot of pain that you will feel if you don't. So even in the personal life or even in the business, I think try to find a mentor that will guide you to the right process. I think that's very helpful for success.
Well, and let's say, and on that note, we're at Groundswell in Melbourne, Florida right now. I flew in from Denver, and our facility is awesome, but it's in an accelerator program, right? Yep. Facility. And you guys, there's mentors here. They put on programs and they do wonderful things. So a big hands out to them, but you guys, they're everywhere. There are tons of organizations like that. I've worked at them. I've come in and spoken. So there are places to find that. I sometimes cheat a little bit. And if I'm looking for a product in an industry, I might call on that association's trade group. So there's always, you guys seriously look it up. I mean, there's an association of, you name it, doctors, there's associations of chiropractors, there's association of, I swear to God, I think there's a kids bedspread association. I mean, it's crazy how it narrows down, but I don't care what your product is, there's going to be an association. And when you call on that association, they know everybody. I love to talk to the members girl because she knows who's involved. So she'll know who's the biggest manufacturers. She'll know like who I've done this. I've called and said, look, I've got this really cool product. Have you ever seen it before? And she'll be like, no, but that thing's freaking awesome. And she'll go, wait a minute, you need to show that to so-and-so. Hold on, I got a contact. You guys, it doesn't get better than that. So you can get expert advice without bringing them on your team, just understanding where to go and ask for it. To be polite, not to take advantage and abuse, but reach out to these great startup companies. Reach out to these great, not companies, startups, supports and accelerators to get your team. And I think we also mentioned the co-founders group. I think there's a website now where you can actually find a co-founder. And I think a co-founder in that group, it may be a free partner that comes on, right? I don't even know if you pay.
All kinds of different options out there.
Yeah.
But kind of goes back to figuring out who you're talking to.
So I think my tip, I think I'm going to start with my tip today, which usually I ask Keith first, but I think my greatest tip is, in respect to all of us for what we do, we love you and we want to work with you and we want to do the best we can for you. But if you hire us, let us do it. I think that's just as simple as I can say it. And whether it's us or someone else, but we've earned it. We've earned the right for you to trust us to do it. So let's assume that whoever you hire does, give them a shot. And I work with you. I never work instead of you. Yeah. But my clients, once they get comfortable, they're awesome. You reach out as often as I do. They know everything I'm doing at the same time I'm doing it. So let go and go enjoy your life. Make this a fun journey, not a sucky journey. All right, what's your tip?
I think I'm going to go with that. Like when you hire someone or when you partner with someone, trust them and let them do their job. Like that's really important because you trust, you got them, you partner with them because you trust their ability. So let them do their job. Don't try to micromanage them. And I think that's very key for
after you've done your good evaluation, let them run, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to do a funny tip for today. I would say tip would be if you don't know where to start in some of this, right? If you've been hearing this and you're like, yeah, but I've got all these questions, send them to us. I mean, I know I would much rather take a few minutes, answer an email, follow up, even talk about it on the podcast if you want us to. But I would say reach out to us if you really are stuck, because the wealth of resources we're connected to, and just sometimes that one question can change a lot of things.
And I want to play on that for just a little bit more, you guys. Listen, you can send an email and you can say, this is for Keith, this is for Juan, this is for Luann, the questions, or just ask in general, however you want. But I do want to say something really important. When I say that, we know each other and we know what our work. We know that you can trust us and safe. So it does start with picking the right person. And you guys, reality is sometimes you're going to pick somebody that you think is fantastic and they were on your team and you divorce them. It just happens in life. So pick yourself back up and don't get discouraged that you hired the wrong employee. It's going to happen. If you own a business, you're going to hire a ton of employees and you're going to fire them and you're going to start over. So we just want you to have sanity and balance in your life, and we want you to get what you pay for, right? We don't want you to work so hard and not get what you pay for. So I love what Keith said. You guys, we genuinely, I've made a few shameful pitches, but we truly did not do this for jobs, for work. We truly want to help see more successes. So we need to see more stories and do your homework, you guys. They're on the news. Like, you can look up and research people that have had some issues in this industry. Be kind in life. Understand that things happen, but just do your homework well. And then reach out to us. If we can guide you, we will. Like you said, we will. And if we feel like it's something that makes sense for everyone, we'll share it on the podcast. If not, we'll all jump in and just give you. We're here. We can't always get on the phone, but we always can get to an email, right? Even if Keith is 2 a.m. But he has kids at home and the whole bit. All right, you guys, I want to thank you so much. We've had so much fun with you. I've got to be in Florida, which is so freaking amazing. I'm going home to snow in Colorado. So you guys, we will be together next week, right? Talk soon. Right. Okay, thanks again. Bye, everybody.